very excited to be here, and today I'm going to be talking about women in leadership. So I'll be going a little bit about my background and then also some tips on what you can do as women to hopefully set some goals and ambitions to maybe become part of a leadership, be in a leadership position in your community. Okay? So that's me at 6 years old. I came from Mexico at that age, and that's probably one of my happiest moments when I was 6 years old. So, like I said, I came from Mexico when I was 6. I started my schooling here and actually in Alum Rock schools. I've moved around a lot, but I went to Alum Rock schools, I went downtown, and so I attended several schools there. And in 5th grade, we went back to Mexico, and I was able to attend school there for about 3.5 years, which I think, at the time you get upset because you're not going to see your friends and all this. But actually it was really good because it solidified my Spanish. I was able to learn it really well and have some practice at reading and writing and interacting with people. So in retrospect now, I think that's actually was a good experience for me, and it has helped me in my career. It helped. When I came back, I was in high school, and I attended a school, and I took advanced math classes. I really have loved math since I was young, and I was able to take some pretty tough courses, and I was able to go to school, to go to college after that. So I applied to college. I applied to the main 3 that I want. My preference was Santa Clara. I actually did a summer engineering seminar between my junior and senior year, and I was really excited about studying computer engineering. And I did the summer engineering seminar for a week. I got to live in the dorms. We got to attend some seminars, and it was really a really good cohort of high school students that were experiencing the college life before even going to college. And I also applied to USC, and those were my 2. And then I also applied to San Jose State. At the time, I wasn't a resident yet, a permanent resident, and unfortunately, the financial aid that I was offered, I couldn't take because most of it was federal, and if I wasn't a resident, you couldn't take federal monies. So unfortunately, I couldn't attend my preferred school, and so I applied to San Jose State and got accepted there. Thankfully, I did get some college scholarships, and I applied for these 3. The San Jose GI Forum, Women Ahead was a lawyers group of women that created this foundation and gave out scholarships. I actually got it twice. I did it my freshman year and my sophomore year. And then this one was an interesting story. The National Hispanic Scholarship, I didn't even know I applied. An actual counselor from San Jose State applied for me on my behalf. And in the fall, I got a notification at financial aid office that I had $1,000 in my account and I needed to pick it up. I remember thinking, this is a mistake. I didn't apply for this scholarship. And so my boyfriend at the time said, well, go get the money. It's yours. They're saying it's yours. I said, okay, I'll go get it. So I went and got it. And then afterwards, I get the letter saying, congratulations, you got the scholarship. What? So, obviously somebody applied on my behalf. And thankfully, that definitely helped me my first year to get going in college. So I started at San Jose State. I actually started as a computer engineering major, which was really difficult. Being the overachiever that I was in a hurry, and I made this mistake, and I tell all my students, because I'm an educator, take it slow. I did 18 units my freshman year with a computer engineering major. We had chemistry, I had calculus, I had English, I had some social studies, I had PE. The science class had a lab. It was too much, and obviously my GPA got affected. So it was really hard. The engineering degree is really rigorous, and because I had to support myself, I had moved out of my mom's, and I had to work part-time and support myself and go to school. It was really difficult. So I changed it to political science. So I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in political science, international relations was my concentration. And then I used my Spanish knowledge to get a minor in Spanish. I figured I know the language, I might as well get certified that I know how to speak the language. So that's what I did. And it was one of the most proudest moments of my life. I actually invited some of my teachers that I had in elementary school and in high school. 2 of them, one of them showed up my high school. My senior year English teacher, Mr. Jordan from Independence, came and he told me how proud he was, and I was really happy that he was able to be there and for me to acknowledge his contribution to my education. So all my teachers, I feel, contributed to that. So I also took advantage, and I got my green card at the end of my junior year, so then I could travel. And the political science department, along with the history and English department at San Jose State, take about 30 students and 3 professors every spring to Bath, England. And one of my favorite professors invited me the year before, and I wish I would have gone with him because he was my philosophy teacher and he was amazing. And I had to, I didn't want to say why. I just said, I have to take care of my sister. I had a baby sister at the time. I have to help my mom. Those were my excuses, but in reality, it was because I couldn't go. So, but the next year, as soon as I got my green card, I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going. And I did, and I loved it. And it just opened my eyes to so much perspective, having more of a global perspective and seeing the big picture about what can be possible. And so I also encourage all my students, when you go to college or even sooner, go ahead and travel. Because in college is the only time you're not married, you don't have kids, you don't have a mortgage. It's the free time. I mean, that was a semester I spent where all I did was focus on me. I read books, I learned as much as I could, I traveled through Europe, I went to France, I went to Spain. That's your a good opportunity to have your me time. So I really encourage that. After that, I was actually encouraged by a couple of my boyfriend's parents were both teachers, and they had known me for about 5 years, and they said, you are bilingual, you love to learn, you love kids, why don't you consider a career in teaching? Which I hadn't. I actually wanted to get my master's in international relations, work for the United Nations, and bring world peace. And so I said, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me see about that. So I got recruited at North District, the district I attended as a child too. And that was like the first job I got after my credential, or after my bachelor's. And I thought I'll try it for 5 years. After that, if I don't like it, I'll go get my master's in international relations. And I fell in love. I fell in love with teaching and being around kids and affecting their lives. You're so powerful in that position. Just like those teachers that helped me were powerful. And so this is my 18th year. 5 years became 18. I know, it's crazy. So because of that, in my technology knowledge, in Mexico there's a very good program that I wish we had more in the States. It's pretty much understood that a lot of kids that don't have resources are probably not going to go to college. So what the Department of Education does over there is they offer a vocational career in middle school for 3 years. So when I was over there, I actually took a computer programming vocational program. They also had auto mechanic, accounting, seamstress, very real-world type of vocational careers. So when students finish school around 15, 16, or 15, they were ready to go join the workforce. And so I took the computer programming course, so I had a lot of knowledge of technology. And so when I came here and I graduated from college and I go and teach, there was no technology being taught in the classes. What is going on? Why isn't this being taught? So I took a certificate program to learn computer applications, and then I got hired as a consultant to teach teachers how to use education in the classroom. And that was just a short certificate, so about 6 classes, and that really inspired me to think, well, maybe I need to do the next step. And that's why I went back to school and got my master's in instructional technology. And I continued to become a professional development trainer. Every school that I've been to, I've been in various districts and schools. Everywhere I go, I offer what I know. I like to share my knowledge. I think that's important, not just keep it to myself, but share it with the world. So my work experience has been interesting too. So from the first jobs, I worked at Kmart down where Kohl's is now at McKee. And next door was a video game. I tell my son I used to be a gamer when I was little. I used to drive from Allen Rock and Jackson on my bike about 25 minutes to the video game arcade on Saturdays, and I would be there for like 4 hours playing video games. I also worked as in an engineering office as a receptionist, and that actually gave me, a really good look at what the private sector looked like. And I learned from them, and I was actually the troubleshooter and the receptionist, which was really weird for me because here you have engineers, mechanical engineers, working, and I'm troubleshooting their computers. And I'm like, wow, and I don't even have a degree, so it was a really good experience. I also worked for Congresswoman Loughran during her campaign, her first campaign when she won, and then she offered me an internship to to work at her office. But I also had an internship at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I decided to go to that one. I don't know if you know about internships, but that's basically free work, which I couldn't afford. And so I told them at the Hispanic Chamber, can you pay me? And they did, and so I had to leave this one to go to the paid one, which was also a very good experience too. So like I said, I've been an educator for 18 years. I've been a teacher. I've taught K through 8 in some way or another. And I've been a peer coach and mentor. I got hired, like I said earlier on, when I did my certificate program to teach teachers how to use technology in the classroom. I've been a technology teacher where I've taught students in 3rd through 8th grade different technology skills. I've been a webmaster, basically in charge of the school website and uploading content. I just recently, I worked at the Mount Pleasant Elementary School District. I started there 5 years as a 4th, 5th grade bilingual teacher. Then I became the technology teacher. I did that for about 2.5 years. Then I became the principal last year for about 10 months. And then I got transferred to the district office to become the science and technology administrator. And in that capacity, I'm basically in charge of deploying Google apps right now for the district. I just attended a Google Summit last month and took a certificate course to become a Google Administrator Level 1. I'm hoping to do Level 2. And it's a really great program, and I'm very excited to share that with our students, because our students need to know what it looks like to work in Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the ways I'm contributing. Them being able to use technology for learning, not just for entertainment and amusement, but for actual learning. So I've also gotten hired. I was hired at San Jose, at the National Hispanic University. I taught a class there for teachers. I also was hired at San Jose State. They actually had a special project where they sent me to El Salvador to help Universidad Don Bosco establish the Instructional Technology Master's Program. So they sent me twice in September and February a few years ago. Actually, my son was 1. He actually went on one of my trips. Mm-hmm. So after I went there, did an orientation, and I also taught an online class. And the second time we went was in February, and I took him and my sister so that after my 2-3 days that I had to work, we got to go to the beach afterwards. So it was really exciting to say I got to, work and do some sort of, visiting the country at the same time. So it was great to have my son there with me and my sisters. So I've taught online classes. I've also taught at Foothill. They've hired me to do the Silicon Valley Education Foundation courses to prepare teachers to teach algebra in the summer using technology, and that was really fun too. So interests and achievements, I really like to present. I was very excited when Ms. Katie Hudson invited me to present at this conference like I mentioned earlier. I've already presented at technology conferences. One of the first ones that I did was CUBE, Computer Using Educators, and I did that when I was just beginning about 10 years ago, presenting the projects I was working in the classroom and sharing that with teachers so they could get ideas as to what they could do in their classrooms. I also presented at EASTE, and that was another trip that I got to take my family. We did a road trip to Colorado. EASTE is the International Society for Technology in Education, and it's an international event. I mean, there was people from all over the world. Actually, I met some people from SEP, the Secretaría de Educación Pública, that's the Mexican Ministry of Education, and got to hear what they were working on in Mexico, and I got to tell them what I was doing here, so it was a really great experience. I did a presentation on cloud computing and how I had been using Google in my classroom to make it a paperless classroom so that students could turn in work electronically instead of with paper, so no more excuses that my dog ate the homework because Google got it now. No excuses. And for my work, I was given the Educator Award by the Instructional Technology Department at San Jose State about 10 years ago too. So the skills that I possess, the three main ones that I like to think of are the fact that I'm bilingual. As they say, you're worth 2 people when you know language, more than one language. I'm very tech savvy. I've been basically using computers since I was 12 when I was in Mexico. In addition to the classes that I took at the school, I took Saturday courses, private courses on Saturday downtown in Durango. That's where I'm from, by the way. And I'm a problem solver. I've loved math all my life. I like to solve problems. I like to come up with solutions and make things better for people around me. And so other highlights that I have is that I'm very passionate about using technology in education. I've also received additional grants from the County Office of Ed and Donors Choose. I actually did this really wonderful fellowship, which is an 8-week, I call it a summer camp for teachers, through an organization called ISME, the Institute or Industry Initiative for Science and Math Education. They basically gather teachers and they deploy into different companies in the Silicon Valley. I went to Lockheed, some teachers went to Intel, some teachers go to ADM. I mean, there's all these technology companies that teachers get deployed, so they get to experience what it looks like to work in the private sector. They get to see what are the skills our students need to learn to get ready for those jobs. And then they take that experience back to the school, and that's what I did. The following fall, we had our college day. I had my supervisor come and be the keynote speaker at our college day event, and we talked a lot about college and how to get there and what you can do to prepare and the benefits of college, you know, the income that you can get between a high school and a college degree is drastically different. And living in Silicon Valley, you know you need something like that. It's so difficult to live here. Our expenses are much higher than probably most places in the United States, if not the world. I love to empower students to succeed. I'm currently the advisor of the Kiwanis Builders Club at Ida Ju Academies, where I was a teacher there. My son actually attends there and is, of course, part of that. And so that's a leadership club that I have for 6th through 8th grade students. And I also had a mouse squad for a couple of years, and that's basically I called it my IT department. There was 4th through 8th grade students that helped me troubleshoot the computers, maintain them, clean them up, get them ready. You know, if the teacher was in the middle of class and their smartboard wasn't working, the kids just can go, I know how to fix it, and they would go and fix it for them. And the teachers loved it, that they had a tech person in their class, so that was great. And I'm always learning. I'm constantly learning, challenging myself. I know that's the key to staying, you know, especially technology, you have to do that. Technology evolves so fast that you get behind if you don't stay current. So how did I get here? How do you become successful? How do you become a leader? So let me show you that one. So here are my tips for success and to become a leader in your community. Number 1, you need to believe in yourself. Oh, stop thinking. You have to feel that in yourself. You need to feel that you're valuable, and as it was mentioned in the speeches earlier, we need to feel that we have something to contribute. That we ourselves, you know, irrespective of everything else, whether we're moms, we're married, just ourselves, we are valuable human beings. So we need to start with that. We need to feel that. And I remember since I was young, I remember thinking that I want to do something of significance with my life. I don't want to just go, you know, the regular way where you just get by. No, I wanted to do something of significance. You need to seek mentorship. We can't succeed in isolation. Like I mentioned, I am grateful and thankful for my teachers because they contributed to that success. But in addition, you want to look for professionals. What are your interests? What are your passions? Seek out those people that know more than you. And my mom, unfortunately, she was a single mom. I'm a single mom as well too. But she had a tough time. She had to work. You know, she went through 6th grade when she was in Mexico, and that's the only education she had. So she had to work a lot. She had to work after school. I was what is called now a latchkey kid. I was come home to an empty house, and I'd just be there all afternoon by myself because I was the only child too. But you need to seek out people that can help you. And I remember as I was growing up, I always had a woman helping me out. In high school, I had, she was the ELD coordinator. You know, I was an ELD student, and I remember I met her, and we just hit it off. She was the advisor to the Chicano Latino Club, and I just held on to her. She was supportive. She was my cheerleader. She encouraged all the kids, but, you know, she took a special interest in me, and she held my hand, and she walked me through high school, and it was great. As a professional, I had another friend, her name is Nancy, that I've known since I worked at Allen Rock almost 18 years ago. We meet every month or so. You know, life takes us in different routes sometimes, but pretty much we meet every month. And she's my cheerleader, she's my support. But there's other people out there too that have been there for me. So that's one of the big things that I encourage. Make connections, network, meet other people, because you never know when you're gonna need them. Maybe they have an opportunity that they know of that matches your interest, and they're going to do that for you. They're gonna bring that to you. Using technology. Of course, being a tech person that I am, I meet someone, I right away ask them if they're in LinkedIn. I know I just met Dina, and I asked her, and I already requested her to join my network. Meetups is another great place. If you go to meetups, there's basically events going on in Silicon Valley all the time. I've been getting into entrepreneurship, so I've been attending some of those meetings in the last 2 years, and I've been meeting all these business people. You just get surrounded by that energy and that passion that people have, and that propels you to be passionate as well. It encourages you a lot. Eventbrite is another place that advertises events that people are having all over the Bay Area. Surround yourself with positive people. That is very important. Because as you go through life, I'm sure you have, there's going to be people out there that are going to put you down. They're going to say, you can't do it. So you need to surround yourself by people that can tell you, you can. You're valuable. You have skills. You have talents. Go for it. That really helps a lot. You can still do it without it, but it makes it much easier. Family, friends, professionals. You want your cheerleading squad, basically, to be there cheering you on every step of the way. And education. You have to prepare yourself. You're going to have opportunities, but you want to prepare yourself. And education is really important. Obviously, one of the biggest things we do as educators is encourage kids to go to college. I know not everybody agrees that everybody's going to go to college, but shoot for that. If not, a vocational school. And then once you get there, you seek advanced degrees, get certifications in areas of expertise that you're in. You're certified that you know what you know, so that when you present yourself, there's no question. Or if you want to learn independently. I've had friends who didn't have a college degree, and because they learned on their own, they managed to get a job, and they got paid the same, or if not more, because mostly the technical jobs, you can get paid for that. I had a friend once who was making $10,000 being a webmaster a month. Had not finished his bachelor's degree. So definitely have a passion you can pursue. And I tell the young girls that I meet and the young boys, start thinking about what you're interested in. When I was in middle school, I had a long list of things. I'm like, okay, if I can't do that, then I want to do this and I want to do that. Just have a list. Have some sort of ambition, goal. Because even though, you know, maybe you don't get to do the first thing on your list, you'll get maybe to do the second thing. Or maybe something you didn't even have on your list, but just to have a plan, a projection, something to shoot for, a passion. Something that's going to make you wake up in the morning and go, yes, I get to do this again. You know, a lot of people talk that when you really like what you do, you don't really work. You're actually playing. And that's how I feel when I do this kind of work. So when you find that, hold on to it. Because most people do go through life working 30, 40 years doing something they don't like. That's such a waste to me. Like when you're, you know, a grandma, grandpa, you want to reflect back and go, yeah, I did exactly what I wanted, or I did something I really enjoyed. I think that's more worthwhile. Staying healthy. I know I was just talking to Dina about that. Work-life balance. It is difficult as women, especially Latina women. We take care of everybody. I'm the center of my family. I have a small family. I have my mom, my stepdad, my two sisters that are 21 and 24, and my son. And I'm that center. I need to stay healthy. Otherwise, everything else falls apart. And also, 3 of them are ill because they didn't take care of their health. So it's really hard to rely on them for things because they have to take care of themselves. So that's why it's really important as parents that we take care of ourselves so that our kids can benefit from us as parents. Otherwise, it makes it difficult. And also, to become a leader, you need to be healthy. You need to be alert. You need to be awake. You need to be ready for what comes next. And you can't do that if you're too tied up with not being healthy. So I really encourage you to stay healthy as much as possible. And don't give up. I've mentioned a lot of obstacles I went through in my life. I didn't give up, so don't give up. If this little 6-year-old from Guatemala, Durango can come to the United States, go to college, become an educator, a principal, and a district administrator, anybody can do it. Don't give up. You're always going to have them. So thank you. So set goals that are realistic. Work in chunks. You know, I applied to Santa Clara, didn't go there. Well, I'm going to San Jose State. I'm going to get my degree no matter what. Somewhere, somehow, I'm going to get it. And I did. And like I said, obstacles, especially with us with being immigrants, second language learners, first year college student, you know, in our family, it is hard. But don't give up. Failure is often seen as something negative, but we need to start changing our mindset. Failure is an opportunity to learn. And a lot of successful people have failed. Failure is an opportunity to see what doesn't work. Okay, I tried it, didn't work, right? Now I know not to do that ever again. Now let me try something else. By doing that, that's how you find what makes you successful. What's the right thing for you. And my motto, I use this a lot. I put it in the bottom of my emails. Wish it, because you need to wish. You need to dream. You need to dream. You have to have an imagination. You need to look beyond what's right there in front of you. You need to look 10 steps ahead. And I have been told, you're 10 steps ahead of everybody else. I'm sorry, that's how I am. But that's how you accomplish something. And do it. Go for it. It will be done. It gets done when you have that attitude. So I wanted to quickly just announce, I do have a flyer. It's a half sheet. I have my contact information there. I also have information about this book, Lean In. It was written by Sheryl Sandberg. She's the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook, local company, Silicon Valley. And she wrote this book. I highly suggest that you read it if you can. I wish I would have read this when I was 13. It would have made me so much happier. She talks a lot about women empowerment. She talks about how we need to value ourselves as people and not let other things stop us. You know, there's a big movement right now trying to get girls and women into technical careers, especially in Silicon Valley. I don't know if you read the articles that they talk about the percentages of minorities and women in technical positions. There's hardly any. We need to get into that position. She actually started a nonprofit organization that helps people organize what are called Lean In circles, basically support groups for women all over the world. I've established two. One is for, it's called Powerful Latinas, and one I want to target young girls, and one I want to target adult women. And I just got the clearance from the principal here. It was wonderful. We'll be able to host them here in the high school. So I have a link to a Google form. If you're interested, if you fill out that form, give me your phone number and your email. I can send you information once we get all the details down. So we can start creating this circle of support for women to empower you and help you set goals for yourself, become leaders in your community. I'll also be recruiting other professionals that can come and help be mentors. Like I said, we need mentorship and help you and guide you and give you opportunities where you can develop as women, as powerful Latinas. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and definitely please fill out that form. I will raffle. I know they're doing their own raffle because of the tickets and all that, but I want to raffle one of these books, Lean In. So if you fill out my Google form, I'll put you in that raffle and I'll notify you if you get the book. It's a really wonderful book. Thank you so much.
Which one is your Google form?
It's on the sheet. It's on the, it says here, fill out form to join mailing list, and it says HTTP.
Oh, okay, so we got it online.
Yeah.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. If you don't have access to that, I can give you a paper where I can have like a little sign.